What's your name and badge number? What's your name and badge number? I asked you a question. Hey guys, sorry for the late editorial this morning, or today, but I do have a Monday editorial for you. I do want to try to have one every day if I can. I had a family emergency today, and pretty much I've been dealing with that all morning and into lunchtime now, and then I'm going to be dealing with it all day, probably into the night. We do have, everything's good. We're going. We move on. Life goes on, and you move on. Low battery. But let's do this. So the reason I'm giving you this one and not one about law enforcement or public officials is this one really weighed heavily on me. I read it and I said, you know, this is the editorial I'm doing. This is the one I'm doing. If you own guns, if you have a gun in your home and you say, well, it's for protection, at least ensure that you have enough common sense to handle it. Okay, make sure you're not a dumb fuck like this guy in the story. I just want to beat the crap out of this guy because my father was a gun owner. You know, I'm a gun owner. People in my family have been gun owners for years, but we're responsible. We're not stupid like this guy. And this story just irritates the crap out of me, man. I guess because I don't tolerate stupid people well. But we're going to the ATL, Atlanta, Georgia. A teenager in Atlanta was fatally shot on Friday after knocking on the door of an apartment he mistakenly thought was the one he shared with his girlfriend, authorities have said. The teenager, Omarion Banks, or it could be Omarion Banks, I apologize for the name, but approached the apartment at about 12:30 a.m. on Friday and began knocking on the door under the impression that his girlfriend was inside, the police said. After Mr. Banks walked away, he was 19 years old, a man inside appeared on a second-floor balcony to confront him and opened fire. The man suspected of being the gunman, Daryl I. Bynes, 32, has been charged with murder. Good! They should put that guy away for the remainder of his natural life. Mr. Banks' girlfriend, I'm going to mess this up, I apologize. Zachariah Mathis, 23, had been waiting for Mr. Banks because he had called her and asked her to open the door. The conversation lasted 3 seconds. Hey, can you open the door for me? Yep, have it open. Just come right up. Miss Mathis said on Sunday, she was quoted as saying, I went to open the door and he wasn't standing right there. Miss Mathis could not see Mr. Banks, so she started walking out of her apartment and soon heard faint voices. The voices were not loud enough to be an argument or an altercation, she said. Then she soon heard a gunshot and she stopped in her tracks. Mr. Banks said, quote, I'm sorry, I'm at the wrong house, according to Miss Mathis. She said she then heard a man accusing him, allegedly using a racial slur and saying, nah, you're at the right house, followed by 2 more gunshots. That was Mr. Bynes. I for idiot. Mr. Banks, she said she saw him on the grass and ran to him. As she screamed his name, he did not respond. And of course, the police said that, well, let's get to this. Mr. Bynes and Mr. Banks had a verbal exchange before Mr. Bynes fired a handgun 3 times from his balcony. Mr. Banks was pronounced dead at the scene. Mr. Bynes is being held without bail. Good, don't let that son of a bitch out because he'll kill somebody else. He's an idiot with a gun. Mr. Bynes is being held without bail. A lawyer listed in court records for Mr. Bynes could not be immediately reached for comment on Sunday. Mr. Banks, who was a crew chief at McDonald's restaurant, had just left his mother's house, his mother Lisa Johnson said on Sunday. He said he was tired and normally his girlfriend would pick him up, but she sent a lift for him and 30 minutes later she was on the phone saying that he was dead. You know, now this guy, Mr. Bynes, I for idiot, faced charges of driving without a valid license in 2015 and possession of marijuana in 2010. According to court records, the disposition of those cases is not immediately available. Mr. Bynes' family is saying that he acted in self-defense and to protect his children because his car had been stolen earlier in the week. So you shoot a guy who's at the wrong house. So you just shoot some guy because he knocked on your door. I'm going to kill this guy. This guy's here to steal my stuff. Anybody that knocks on my door and don't live here is a criminal. The reason I'm talking like this is because I'm freaking infuriated at this guy. I just am so infuriated. His car had been stolen, so anybody that knocks on his door and walks away gets shot. What the fuck? We're living in a world of paranoia in this day and age. And I'm just getting so tired of it. See something, say something. And everybody is saying something about bullshit, everything they see. Black guy in a car, he's got to be stealing it. Guy with tattoos, that guy's got to be on drugs. I'm calling the cops. You can see how emotional I am right now over this story. This story has got me so worked up. I thought I was just going to do a normal editorial for you guys, but I cannot. I am so worked up over this see something, say something, this day and age, paranoid gun owners. It's got to stop, guys. You got to slow down. Use your freaking common sense. We have enough problem with everybody shooting them. We have enough problem with law enforcement, with cops shooting people. We got to shoot ourselves, each other? Come on. I want to know what you guys have to say in the comment section below. I'm sorry, this is going to probably be a weird, different editorial. I'm just so worked up. There's no way to calm me down over this story. I've tried to calm down and say, okay, let's do this editorial the right way. I cannot do it. I am so emotional over this editorial. I am so pissed off that a 19-year-old is dead because some 32-year-old asshole owned a gun. And I hope he gets convicted and spends the rest of his natural life. Let the wife protect the children. You're going to be in prison. That's how I feel. If I'm wrong, let me know. The whole story will be in a link in the description box below. You can go read it. There's some more to it that I probably didn't go over. But I gave you the meat of it. I gave you the bulk of this thing. News now, you keep up. It's a whacked out week, guys. Talk to you later. More editorials to come this week for sure.